welcome to the Everyone Active podcast. I am one of your hosts, Jo.
Hello, I'm your other host, Michelle.
Hello.
Team, look.
We're not in our usual place.
We are officially on the road.
We are on the road. We've been let out.
We have. We are currently in Wakefield in the Pure Energy studio. So massive shout out and thank you to the Pure Energy team for letting us use their studios
And
today.
great coffee as well, we must say. And a really nice dog.
A decaf coffee,
Really
obviously.
nice dog.
Oh,
Did you meet
beautiful.
the dog? Anyway.
I know. So this is us today. And are
We're
you
very
good?
excited. Very good. Are you okay?
Yeah, really, really good. What a lovely, lovely summer so far.
I know, it's been amazing, hasn't it?
I quite like the sunshine, bit of rain, sunshine, bit of rain. Although you escaped the bit of rain.
Well, I have been on holiday, but I'd like to say that my tan has faded, I think, since I saw you last week.
So anybody that's actually watching this, you will notice that today I have a long sleeve top on for a reason. Michelle is rather
But
glowing from holiday.
I'd also like to say that I did say I was going to wear a white top just to upset you, and I've noted that I'm not wearing a white top.
Thank you.
And I have got half sleeves on.
I love you very
Thanks,
much.
There we go.
Shall we?
Shall we
go?
then? Okay.
So team, we are not only in the Pure Energy studios, thank you very much, but we have our lovely guest today, and we've got Andy, who is the CEO of Pure Energy, with us today. Welcome. Andy.
Thank you for having me. Welcome to the north. Welcome to Wakefield, our HQ.
So it's so bougie.
Is it bougie?
It's
Good word.
really bougie here.
Isn't it?
Yeah, it's lovely, lovely. And so, Andy, we are going to quiz and chat to you today about obviously music, but your history, where Pure Energy comes in, the relationship between Pure Energy and Everyone Active, but also the power of music. Like, I think all three of us can have our little stories about how music's changed us or has helped us or anything. So I'd love to tap into your knowledge of
Perfect.
the history of music.
Let's chat.
So let's start at the very beginning. So can you just give us a little bit of background as to how your journey in the music industry started?
Do you know, I had this revelation this week to myself when I thought, hold on, I've been in the music industry 40 years.
Wow.
I know.
So when you were 2?
Quite literally. It was literally this week. I went, oh crikey, 40 years in the music industry. So I when I left school, ran out of school at 16, couldn't get out quick enough type of thing. I started work in a recording studio as a sound engineer, guy that made the tea in Rotherham. So it wasn't exciting in London or Miami. It was in Rotherham. So yeah, I literally had a passion for music. So I started working as a sound engineer at the Music Factory in Rotherham, and sort of learnt my trade from there really. So sound engineering, producing, played a bit of guitar, and then became a DJ. And so I've had 40 years from being a record label executive to a very successful recording artist, to DJ, still DJ a little bit now, and running Pure Energy and lots of companies in the industry. So it's been a 40-year journey, but it all started with the passion for music.
This is amazing.
And I think you're being very modest, because on my little journey around your offices, I have seen a number of platinum discs, gold discs.
Yeah.
Would you like to talk to us about that?
Yeah. If you are old enough to remember, I did have 3 number 1 records.
Come on.
Back in 1989. So
Goodness me.
So when I started working in the recording studio, we created a DJ mix service called Music Factory Master Mix, and on there we mixed together a mix of old rock and roll tunes and called it Swing the Mood, just for DJs. We never intended to release it. I came up with the name Jive Bunny. I used to call my friend that. And we decided to try and release this record. No major record label would touch it. They said it's stupid, never work. So effectively we were mixing other people's records together. And at that time, sampling wasn't really a thing. So we created this track, came up with the artist name Jive Bunny. Every record label, EMI, Sony, BMG said never going to work. So
And did you physically approach all of those labels?
Yep. Stupid idea. A stupid idea was the word.
Not gonna work. And then
So my dad took a risk, remortgaged the house.
Wow.
We borrowed a few quid from the bank and we created Music Factory Records, and we released Swing the Mood by Jive Bunny in July 1989. It went to number 33 in the charts. I was listening to the chart countdown in my mother's front room.
Were you recording it on a cassette deck?
Yep, I was doing that. And I still have it. I still got the
Yes.
cassette. I have still got the cassette. I think it was Bruno Brooks doing the chart countdown. So it went in at 33. The next week, it went to number 3. And then the week after that, it went to number 1 and stayed there for 5 weeks and sold 1 million copies.
I bought one. I've got a copy.
I think I've
Thanks
got
then.
one as well.
I love Jive
Can we
Bunny.
take you back, like right the way back, now we've got everybody's attention. Yes, see? It's quite a special guest we've got in. When you were a sound engineer in the studio, we notice in the fitness industry about how much technology has changed in such a short space of time. What was sound engineering like when you were first 16, 17 years old? How did you get the recording from somebody's instrument through to the decks, through to commercials?
Yeah, I mean, so the music industry today is to make music today, you just need a laptop and an internet connection, and anybody can make music, distribute music, promote music. Back then in the 80s, you had to know how to run a studio. So the desk was, as big as this room. Yeah. It was a 24-track machine, like a big washing machine, huge, tape this thick.
Wow.
There was no computers per se back then. And when we were doing the Jive Bunny stuff, we were literally chopping beats together on 1/4-inch tape, the reels to reel.
Yes.
Running it down to the 24-track on one channel, so you've got 24 channels, and then literally throwing 7-inch singles over the top and then editing it all together.
Goodness me.
So back then...
Can you just explain that a little bit in simpler terms? Because I'm lost in tapes, and not all of our listeners are going to actually understand the production and the amount of levels that need to go into a recording.
So today it's all digital. Back then it was analog. So when I talk about tape, actual tape.
Physical
tape.
Cutting it.
A machine. In fact, in our office where the DJ decks are, you'll see a whole reel-to-reel at the back there. I'll show you when we go back up. So back then everything was analog. So you'd plug a microphone in, you'd record the guitar, the bass, the drums on individual channels on your 24. So you had 24 tracks to work with, and you got your desk with each channel.
Yeah.
So you record all the component parts, and then you'd get your mix together with all the different faders and all the EQs, and then you'd master it. And you had one hit at doing that. Whereas now it's digital, you can just record it and you can do it again.
And in terms of the length of, how long would that take as a process if you were doing sort of a Jive Bunny track? How long would
days.
that take? Would it? Wow.
Days and days and days. Yeah, so there was you had to know how to run a recording studio. You had to be trained in doing it. Whereas now everything's a plug-in. We can all use GarageBand. We can all use technology. But back then, you had to. It was like anything. You had to train to do the job. So it was a very long process, but pretty exciting. So quite an exclusive world back then, because you had to actually make the music in a proper recording studio. The music was then physically made on cassette, vinyl. You had to have a distribution deal. It got into the shops and it was sold. So it was a very physical process. Now I remember being a young lad of 19, 20 years old, stood in the back of our price watching people buy the actual record.
And how did that make you feel at that time?
It's amazing. Because it wasn't planned. You weren't planning to be a pop star. I was just a kid. I was a sound engineer, and suddenly Jive Bunny blew up and became a worldwide phenomenon.
Yeah.
But just actually to be in the back of a record shop, watching someone buy your thing,
must have been incredible, wasn't
it? It was.
Absolutely. And we should just take people back, because absolutely some listeners will remember your good old HMVs with your vinyls and your tapes, and then eventually with CDs. But we would walk every weekend or every month, and there'd be 1, 2, 3, 4, or you'd search in alphabetical order for your track of choice. And so you were literally standing there watching your single, watching people pick up that vinyl, walk out, done. You couldn't do it on a phone.
No,
they weren't existent. We certainly weren't playing it through our phones. And it was
and I get it all the time on social media, people tagging me into they found a Jive Bunny vinyl in a second-hand shop or something like that. So it was quite a magical time just to be part of the music industry throughout the 90s. But then, as I've been in the industry for 40 years, just seeing things evolve to where we are now digitally. It's like even Pure Energy, we start with cassettes.
Yes.
That was the first thing that we did. It was a cassette.
I'd like to announce I have on cassette, I can see it, it's up in my loft, Step 1 Pure Energy. Come on.
I love that.
I'd like a photo of that.
I'm about to move house, so I'll send you a picture of it. I've got hundreds of them.
Yeah,
I'll send you that.
There
Amazing.
They are. Can we talk about Pure Energy? So we've done a little bit. We're going to go back though to a bit of the history of the music and power of music. But so Pure Energy is.
So Pure Energy came. So I'll just mention the DJ service where we were doing mixes for DJs. So that was a subscription that started in 1987. That's where Jive Bunny came from. In 1992, my dad, who was running the business, he came up with the idea to do the first service for the instructor, where we took commercially released music under license from PPL and PRS, and we created mixes.
Yeah.
The first legal service for instructors. So that that kicked off in 92, and I, as a young lad, I did step one. So I was the
I'm totally going to send it to you.
And here's the thing, I think on that one, the first track on there was called Pure Energy, which was a track I wrote. So, which is quite ironic, because as we'll come on to where we are now as Pure Energy Music, we create rights included music. The first track on the first release ever on Pure Energy was a rights included track called Pure Energy. So I produced that first.
Wow.
The first track, but I made the mix on the
What
CD.
made you decide to go down the route of providing music for fitness instructors? Because that's quite a niche market to go into, isn't it? Because I know as an instructor at that time, I just qualified at that time. I qualified in 1991, and there was no music. It was an absolute nightmare trying to find music. But how did you make that step into that niche market then?
Because so in 1988, the law kicked in place, which was the Copyrights and Patents Act, which said if you play music in a commercial environment, you've got to be cleared to do it. So because we were doing the DJ thing under license from PPL and PRS, so we had a dubbing license. It was my dad who came with the idea with PPL to create the similar service for the instructor. I think there was something happening in the States, so Power Music was in the States, which started at a similar time, but that was over there. So it was just a niche in the market that there was an opportunity to do so. And so, we literally kicked off with those first couple of releases, and we grew it throughout the 90s. Now, there was a lot of kickback at the time because you suddenly had to be legal to play the music. So it was just my dad, in all honesty, who was always about looking for a niche. And he always said to me, because if you can create a business where you're making money when you're not there, a subscription service, it's a great business. Now, he started renting washing machines and TVs and VCRs to people in mining communities to do electrician. And so that was rental. And he said, he always said to me, son, if you can make money when you're on holiday because someone's paying a subscription. So the same rules applied with Pure Energy. It's a subscription service. So at the time, you'll remember, you could get 6 or 12 tapes a year. So it was like a book club, really.
What I remember.
So
I do have to say, no, I don't
Oh
remember.
my God, I so remember it. I so remember.
you had your allocation.
Yeah, I had my allocation, that's it.
So it was,
And I'd
it was like
sometimes
any...
get to a month and think, I've got loads of allocation dues, and I used to just
go.
I know.
Amazing.
And so it was literally just like any business idea. It was a niche. There was an opportunity in the market.
Wow.
Started in 1992, and so it grew throughout the 90s. And at the peak, we had over 10,000 instructors subscribed. Taking our music.
That's amazing. And then from the fitness industry point of view, if you kind of think about a group exercise class, the first kind of group class actually came from the training of soldiers, really, for the beginning of World War II. It would be their circuits classes or their conditioning classes. And then it grew, and then there would be the women involved, and it would be your keep fit classes outside. And then the 80s happened, and the aerobic phenomenon hit. Vroomed everywhere. And then our gyms became more commercial, and people realised the power of actually exercising together.
Yeah.
And so, you're a first-hand instructor at the time, hearing that it was just so difficult because of the legalities, and it's still the case now. We get asked all the time, why can't I just play this off Radio 1 or another station? Can you just explain the legalities behind playing music out to public?
Yeah, it's such a misunderstood area. So if you go back to the point we just made, if you play music in a commercial environment, a public space, it's protected by law. And it is law. And if you infringe that copyright, you can be prosecuted. And if you keep doing it, you can go to jail. That's the bottom line. So the reason why that exists is if you are a cafe owner or a gym owner or a hairdresser or whatever that may be, you have a product. So your product might be your restaurant, and so you're serving food. So if you put music on in your restaurant, you're enhancing your product with somebody else's product, which is the music. People think that the music is fresh air. I bought it, right, so why can't I use it? So if I go to your house, Joe, and you want to play me your favourite tunes, that's absolutely fine. If you throw a barbecue in your garden and start charging people to come in, that's become a commercial enterprise. Therefore, and you've got music playing, therefore you're enhancing what you're doing with somebody else's music. So there's a law in place that protects that. And there's a couple of things connected to that. What you need to understand with any piece of music, you may have sang it, Joe, and Michelle, you may have wrote it. So you've got a performer and a writer. So there's 2 copyrights that are protected there. So one is protected by PPL, the performance, and one is protected by PRS, which is the composition, the songwriter. So it's there by law, and it's there to protect the use of music in commercial environments. Now, the thing that I think the fitness industry doesn't understand PPL and PRS don't just deal with the fitness industry.
Yeah.
This is music on TV, radio,
Yeah.
bonfire display, anywhere.
Yeah, in
where-
your nail bar, isn't it? Anywhere. Yeah.
Anywhere.
Yeah.
And so the fitness industry is a very small portion of the pie. So what you've got to understand is PPL and PRS are not there after the fitness industry. They protect everybody's music. So PPL is basically looking after Ed Sheeran,
Yeah.
Madonna.
Yeah.
And so what happens is the record labels and the artists give their rights to PPL to say, where anybody plays our music, go collect the money for it. So if a track gets played on the radio, you get quite a nice return. I still get royalties from PPL and PRS for Jive Bunny.
Yeah.
4 times a year. And they'll go, we've made you a payment. You go, ooh, exciting. And sometimes it's great. And so PPL looks after the performance side and PRS looks after the right side. So that's why you can't just play music.
Yes.
Yeah.
You wouldn't walk into a shop and pick a book up and walk out and nick it. It's the same thing if you're playing music in public. Now, within the fitness industry, there's another level of complication because you've got a background music license. So if I'm in the gym doing my thing, it's very different to doing group exercise.
Yeah.
The minute you put an instructor in front of a bunch of people delivering any kind of group exercise, a different license kicks in,
Yeah.
which is called the bolt-on license. So a core license delivers your background music and a bolt-on delivers group exercise. So the minute you do that, group training, group exercise, because technically you could have 50 people, 30 people in that room, you could charge them £5 a piece, it's a business proposition, and therefore PPL and PRS dictate the tariff that you play. So it does get very confusing for people, but fundamentally understand it's someone's copyright.
Absolutely.
And if the people that make the music don't get paid, they can't make the music.
Yeah.
So let's go back to where we started with me in the studios with my big 24-track machine and my big desk. Back then, me watching someone buy my record in our price, I knew I was getting £2.44 from our distributor for the sale of that record. The retailer got the other £2. Now, in this day and age, we're getting micro payments.
Yeah.
So the artist now, so back then I sold 1 million records, you're making a lot of money. Now I get 1 million streams, peanuts. And so what do artists need to do? They need to make sure they're getting paid for other things. It's called the secondary exploitation of music.
Okay.
So the streams, the amount of money you get for a stream now is minuscule. 1 million streams equals very, very little money. And so where music is played commercially, that's where artists then start to make some money.
Yes,
Right.
okay.
Touring, they make some money. So it's just about the ecosystem of the music industry. If you want to teach, try teaching without music.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you've got to understand the value of
Yes,
music.
yeah.
100%.
Yes.
Do you know what? This happened to me yesterday, actually. I was teaching a cycle class, but I wasn't there last week because I was presenting one of our Hello customer service teams. I was presenting at their annual review. So we put a virtual class on because I wasn't there. So still in the studio there. Hadn't been taken off. And I'm halfway through the class and all of a sudden the lights changed. I'm like, I know what's going to happen. Help. So Chloe was actually in the class. So Chloe is one of the people that works at Harpenden. Hi, Chloe. She's not just the people, she's general manager, Harpenden, to nip off, go on the computer. But I had a full 3 minutes. I mean, I can talk and I can do some, come on, we're doing it. But it just literally in those 3 minutes, everybody in that room realised it is the power of music and the instructor, but it's the power of music that really takes them to that next level. And those 3 minutes were long.
I have a
3
recurring
minutes.
stress nightmare that I'm walking into a studio to go and teach my class and the music doesn't work. And it's a I've had this recurring stress dream for 30 years. And I know whenever I get, that's exactly what I think about. And it is the whole point. You're there and the music's just not working.
Yeah.
Well, it's similar to me because I've been a DJ for 25 years, retired from doing a lot of it nowadays, but my reoccurring dream is the record's running out.
Yeah.
And I can't find the next record.
Can't find the next record, yeah.
And I'm actually playing vinyl at this point, and so you're going through your record box trying to find the next tune, and that you can see
The needle's going right
going
to
in.
I share your pain. I have that recurring dream.
Oh my goodness me.
Goodness, let's not let that happen. So can we talk about the relationship with Everyone Active and Pure Energy? So from our point of view, the instructor's point of view, we've already highlighted, and the coaching point of view, how important music is to the fulfillment of that class, to helping us deliver what we are skilled in delivering. But as you've said, from a commercial point of view, obviously, if we aren't looking after artists, then the music's not going to be there. So then you found like this gorgeous, amazing it's not even middle ground, it's a little bit revolutionary, where you've got live producers, well-established record writers, all recording music, but specifically for the types of group exercise classes that we now run. And it's just like a beautiful synergy.
I mean, these are big names, you know, people like, you know, Rob Tessera, who I'm a 90s house girl, and I'm like beside myself when I see stuff come from me. So how did that relate? Was that from your DJing years? Is that how those relationships were built?
So this happened during lockdown. So we were rethinking Pure Energy at the time. And I remember being in the office when it all started to kick off, and I think a Zumba teacher rang the office and said, I've got to go online, everything gets muted, what shall I do? And I just suddenly went, hold on, why don't we just make brilliant new music with well-established producers, but with the end in mind, whether you're on a yoga mat, doing a Zumba class, on a bike, doing studio cycling. So why don't we get folk who understand what it means to deliver a spinning class or a studio cycling class, folk who understand what you need to do to deliver a great yoga session. So let's start with the end in mind, on a mat, on a bike, in a class, whatever that may be. So let's get the input from the instructor, and then let's talk to amazing producers, singers, songwriters, and say, look, we want to think differently now and make music for the fitness industry, so it's curated with the end in mind. So I thought to myself, hold on, we've got all these great producers who also need to make great music, and there's no outlet for them right now. So why don't we make music specifically for the fitness industry? But why don't we tackle that problem that is super expensive? And why don't we say to those producers, tell you what, we'll pay you to make music for us? Because go back to my point earlier, people are making pittance on Spotify now. So to make it as an artist today is very, very difficult. We also had the realization that even though you're paying your people and PRS performance fees as a gym operator, the artists, no one's recording what's being played in the actual studio, so the artists aren't actually getting the money. It's just going into a big pot and getting distributed a different way. So at that time, during when the lockdown started to happen, I just innovated and thought we can do this differently. So speaking to people like Rob Tessera, Rob, we need some classic 90s house music, 125 to 128 BPM, bomb, bomb, bomb. And so that's where it came from. That in my mind, all music's new music at some point. You know, when you hear a great track on the radio or on Spotify, you go, oh, it's this, and you Shazam it, and away you go.
Yes.
So I thought, well, why can't we just do that? I run record labels, have done that for 30 years, so why not just get the same people and more to also make music for Pure Energy? So that's where it came from, driven via need, which was we're going to go online. So Pure Energy was a bit of a saviour at that point.
Really was, actually. It really was.
So we just white labelled it so it didn't get muted. And then it kind of grew from there. So fast forward to where we are now, we've got like over 2,500 tracks, from drum and bass to lo-fi music to sound baths, that we work with the artists, we pay the artists so they earn good money and they're part of the programme moving forward. And then we can also say to instructors, look, you've got a choice. You can play that latest tune that you've heard on Spotify that's owned by Defected Records or Sony Music, and you can pay your £5 a class if you wish, if that's what you want to do. Or you can choose Pure Energy Music and we'll remove that cost for you. So this is music made for what you do. So that's where this came about, where we started with copyrighted music back in the 90s. The way the music industry's changed now, I just thought, hey, come on, we can do this differently. So we've innovated in the space. We've developed the service, but it's all about curation. It's all about producing it with the end in mind. And so half our team are incredible music producers, songwriters, musicians, and half our team are fitness experts. So they come together and everything is curated. So Nikki Rios is our label manager, and then we work with other influencers and specialists in the field to make sure this will work for what you do. So I think we're quite unique in what we do.
100%.
Absolutely. I think that's the huge point as well, is it is unique music. It's not altered, it's not copied, it's not anything. It's literally unique music produced with, as you said, a yoga class in mind, or that's specifically for our cycling class. And it's I personally love it.
We've covered it. I've been a DJ for like 25, 30 years. Music's subjective.
Yes.
I like the hits as anybody else do. I'll be playing Pool Harbour Festival soon, where I'll be dropping some 90s bangers.
Come on.
Fantastic, okay? But if I've got 30 people in front of me in a group exercise class, everyone's got their own thing.
Yes.
And so actually, you can't please everybody with the music. So as an instructor, you may have your go-to tunes and you're passionate about that, and I get that. But equally, there are certain classes where I do a lot of functional fitness. So there's a lot of stuff where you need the right music to optimize what you're doing.
Yeah.
And so you can't please everybody. So actually, play great new music that's been designed to optimize the thing that you're doing. And you're gonna please more people. Because if I hear a track, so I might hear Living Joy Dreamer, which is a great tune, but actually it might provoke a memory in me that goes, oh, that was a bad time for me. And so you've got to really think about what you play and why you're playing it, because you won't please everybody.
No, yeah.
So that's why we've approached it in a very different way. You've not heard this music before, but it's been designed and produced with the end in mind.
I absolutely love that. So how does it look from the production point of view? Are you going, okay, there is more of a functional fitness trend in the movement industry at the time. We know that there's a lot of high rocks going on. We know there's a lot of small group training going on. We need, because obviously we don't want a pretty standard, relaxy kind of generic. How does that then transcribe into the amazing albums that then come out of Pure Energy? What is that process? How do you watch what's going on in the fitness world?
Well, there's a few ways that we do that. We've got a whole bunch of influencers, advisors that work with us. So like Chris Templeman, for example, who owns Cross Training Clitheroe, which is the gym that I go to. When I first came up with Pure Energy, the new version, that's where we tested it. Oh. So we've got Chris, who is studio cycling, functional fitness, body conditioning, HIIT. So I've got a lab. I've got a lab I can go there.
A live lab,
and I can watch it work. So
okay.
We've got Hannah Brabs, who heads up our Mind Body, who's a yoga teacher, sound therapist. So we've got a whole bunch of people. Rachel Holmes has been with us for a long time. Nikki Riozzi covers a wide spectrum. Yeah. And then we've got amazing studio cyclists. So working with the guys at Kaiser, for example. Yeah. So back to the point with the end in mind, everything we produce, so I do a lot of high rocks, and so we understand about the frequency and the intensity and the flow and the curation of that music that's going to help me get 30 warbles done or do me burpee, broad jumps, whatever that may be. So we're always producing with the end in mind, which is this is for functional fitness or this is for HIIT. But what we're doing is we're working with those specialists who are curating those programs for us. So it's very much a two-way street. If you're just producing music and chucking it on an app, you've put no thought into the curation of that. And now there's two ways that the Pure Energy Music app can work. You can take the music and create your own playlist because you're a very qualified professional instructor who understands the flow of music.
Where we're going to go. Yep.
Or you can just plug and play and use our programs that have been put together by our master trainers, knowing that you can just go teach. That you've got a 60-minute program there that's going to take you on a flow.
Yeah.
And as a DJ, and this is the same as an instructor, when you are soundtracking your class, you need some ebbs and flows with that. Yeah. If I just played banger after banger after banger, it just becomes a banger. And you don't appreciate the banger when it comes. Yeah. And so you have to just bring it down, pick it back up. So if I'm doing a studio cycling class as a participant and I'm 30 minutes in and I've got to get up that heavy hill climb, the music's got to lift me.
Yeah.
Now, if it's just been on a level constantly, there's no sort of light and shade. Yeah. So you need that right track to kick in at the right time that's going to just kick me on for the final part of that class. So there's a lot of thought that goes into it. So we have an A&R panel. So whenever we produce new music, everything comes through myself and the broader team, and we're listening at it from a production perspective. And there's three things to look for when you're producing music: quality of production, quality of performance, and quality of the songwriting. So we have music specialists and we're very critical in what we do. And then we have the fitness team that are going, does this work? Is the flow of this right for body conditioning, legs, bums and thumbs, whatever it may be? So that's why we all work together to make sure the output's right, absolutely right. But then we're also listening to people like Everyone Active, listening to your instructors. We've got over 5,000 instructors use this music.
And how long does it take usually from start to finish when you're thinking, right, I'm going to create a new album, say, for example, for a conditioning class? How long does that process take from start to finish?
It can take months.
Really?
Yeah, so what happens is we start off with, because what we're also listening for is trends musically.
Yes.
And so we'll be listening to Spotify, the radio. And so my brief to Nikki and the team is every month we need to be creating 20 or 30 tracks that you'd expect to hear on the radio. And then besides that, we're thinking about what are those specialist tracks that we need to facilitate different disciplines. So, for example, we do a lot of retro stuff that feels like it came from that period.
Yes.
Classic example, yesterday I was in the office and Nikki was playing a track, and I went in and I said, "That's brilliant, is that from the 70s?" And she was playing a new soul track that we've just done.
Wow.
Which is full vocal, an amazing track, and I genuinely thought I was listening to something from way back in the day. And so it can take months, because what we're doing, we're reaching out to maybe 10 different songwriters and producers to come together to create the music for this particular programme. So Nick is pushing stuff out, talking to all our different producers. It then comes in. So she's got the end in mind, so she understands why we're producing that. We then critique all the tracks, we kick some stuff back, we change things, and then once we've got all the component parts, the raw ingredients, Nick, one of our producers, with Nikki, will then mix the programme. And then the programme comes out and we reflect on it, we work out to it and go, 30 minutes in, that track's just dropped a bit. And so the actual putting it together might take a day, but the whole production process might take 3 months.
Wow.
So it's quite involved, ultimately.
Yep. But you can tell, and I'm saying this from honesty, not just because I'm sitting in front of you, but from an instructing point of view. I spend time, and I'm in my car and I'm playing Pure Energy through my speakers, and I'm like, I can plan my class in my head, and your peaks and your troughs are literally hitting when I'm like, okay, we've been doing this intensity for this long, I'm going to need to bring it back down. And you can tell the work that goes behind it, and I can structure my class literally to it. And especially, and you've mentioned cycle before, but you're totally spot on. When you've done 30 minutes and it's those final, you've maybe got 7 minutes left. I've had a little breather, but we need a final push. And it's just, I love the electricity that gets created by music.
Lifts you. You know, I mean,
totally.
You know, my life has evolved around music, and my two passions are fitness and music. So I am doing. But I know, because I do it. And if I'm doing a high rocks workout, and I've got that sled push to do, or I've got that other run to do, the music needs to drive me on.
Yes.
And so it's absolutely critical to get it right.
Yeah.
But that, I go back to the point, but my go-to track might not be yours. So therefore, produce a track that's actually for what you're doing.
Yeah.
It's about intensity, feel, rhythm, the peaks and the troughs of the track.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of thought goes into that.
And there's such a human connection, isn't there, with the power of music and the beat of that music and how the emotions make you feel.
Yeah.
What's your favourite kind of feel from a track, or does it depend on where you are and what you're doing? What's your like?
100%. You know, I do a lot of. I use music to meditate and chill out. So music is constantly my go-to, and I think our mind-body catalogue is just phenomenal.
It's unreal.
Hannah Brabs, who does a lot of our sound baths, I think she's done some sound baths that everyone actually.
She has, she has.
And so the amount of work that goes into that side of things is phenomenal. So it depends what I'm doing. I was literally doing a class. I was doing an interval class at Chris's gym last week. I've just had my gallbladder out, so I've had to take 4 weeks off exercise,
dear.
which has been really painful for me. But I started back last week, and I was taking it easy, and I was doing a partner workout with somebody, and I was rowing, and this track, a couple of tracks came on, and I had to stop and go up to the iPad on the wall and just see what it was, because it was so good. But it was just getting the tone and the structure of that track right.
Yeah.
For me, I'm a 90s guy, so those uplifting chord structures, those 90s pianos.
Yeah, the pianos,
And it was like Rob Tessera's just done a few new tracks for us, and it was one of Rob's tracks.
Was it?
And it just took me straight back to the 90s.
It does though, doesn't it? It takes you back to that time,
and it's
doesn't
just
it?
like, so sometimes you need a track that just lifts you and makes you feel good. Sometimes I need some drum and bass, something dirty, something that's just got a bit of angst to it, because I've got to get gritty and I've got to push that sled. So it depends what I'm doing, but it's just got to lift me. So that's why the ingredients are key. And the thing I'll always say, I can go into a restaurant and eat a great meal, and I don't know why, but it just tastes so great. It's the same with music.
Yeah.
You won't understand what goes into getting the frequencies, the rhythm, the structure, even the melodies, and how we arrange tracks. It just feels great. But that's the beauty of what we do.
Yeah,
You'll know if it sounds rubbish, by the way, and you'll know if that meal tastes rubbish.
Yeah.
Because you got the ingredients wrong.
Absolutely. Whilst we've got you, if we could take you anywhere throughout time in the music revolution, where would it be? Who would you be with? What are you doing?
And keep it legal.
I have travelled the world. as a DJ. I think one of the greatest times. Well, look, I am an 80s soul boy actually, and so going back to me with my mullet in clouds in Doncaster, listening to the Mac band, "Roses Are Red."
Great track.
Yeah, that's my go-to music. In fact, we've just been producing some classic 80s soul, and Nick and Hannah have just done a track which takes me right back there, which is phenomenal. So that period in my life, young Andrew with his dodgy suit and mullet, listening to the music as it happened. Because it's like my daughter's 18 this week actually, and the beauty is she gets to share my music on Spotify, so she loves the Mac band, she loves all that sort of music, so take me back there. But the beauty was you were hearing it for the first time.
Yes.
Whereas my daughter's now hearing it like 30 years on. But I think one of the most defining moments for me was sort of that period between the late 90s and early 2000s when dance music was just peaking.
Peak, yeah. Okay.
I remember hearing Out of the Blue System F for the very first time, one of Ferry Corsten's tracks. I was sat on Copley Road in Doncaster waiting to pick up a Chinese, and Pete Tong's doing his dance show on that Friday night, and I was just like in my car going, oh my God, what is this? And then going clubbing at that time, hearing those massive trance tunes, that period of time, and being in Ibiza, that's the period for me. When you're on a dance floor and one of those huge breakdowns,
there's nothing better, is there?
it just takes you somewhere.
It's the raw energy of the people in the room as well that go with you. I'm really glad that you said that as well. It's just made me think. So in the office at Harpenden where I sit, I'm going to say little shout out to George. Hi George. So George is late 20s. I think you're late 20s, George. And he's massive dance music fan, and he'll come in and he'll be like, have you heard this? And I'll be like, yes, but by the way, I heard it back here and this is what it sounded like then. And I'm like, come on. But what an era we experienced, like with the no phones, with a literally pure human energy and like the social wellness connection behind it.
It's unbelievable, isn't it?
Yeah,
Era.
my son, I've got two sons, 22 and 24. Alexander works for Pure Energy actually. He's into his dance music and goes clubbing, and he'll come back and tell me tracks that he's heard and say, that was in your dad's record box 20 years ago.
It's so funny because my boys are the same. I've got a 21-year-old and an 18-year-old, and they'll go, oh, Mum, I heard this absolute banger. And I'll go in, look in my record, there's the vinyl of it. And they're like, oh, I'm like, yeah.
Our kids have got no idea.
No idea.
No idea what we got up to.
The power of music. I think we can all safely say that it is music that has united, and it's music that's lifted, and the way that music and just the energy created through movement, be it yoga, be it cycling, be it through grit and determination doing a high rocks, music plays a fundamental part in how you're going to feel, how you're going to finish, and how you're going to perform.
And I talk a lot because I do a lot of education work with people on PRS actually about educating the market to, and I'll use the phrase the value of music, and that is the value of music with regards to what it makes you do, because music moves you. Now whether that is in a social environment or a fitness environment or a personal environment, music will take you to a place and it will get you through a happy or a sad situation. So understand the value of music in what you do. And then back to our earlier point about why do we have to pay for this? The value of music from where it's come from, and why actually it's a part of your toolkit. It's an essential part of your toolkit as an instructor. Without it, your class would not be the same. So we've got to understand and value where it's come from, which is incredible songwriters, performers, and the world's changed. That they're not making millions of pounds now through their music. So the value of music, because it just moves you, doesn't it?
Yeah,
it takes
100%.
you to a place.
And do you also think that because of the work that you're doing, you're encouraging new artists to come and record with you? Do you have those sorts of relationships going on
Absolutely.
as well?
We're about to bring in a vocal academy upstairs at Pure Energy. Met with an amazing lady who's doing some vocals for us, and she's got a fair few hundred young people and right through to adults who go through her vocal academy who need an outlet. It's very difficult to get an outlet.
Yes.
So Pure Energy Music now is breaking new artists and the quality of the music that we're creating now. And the thing that frustrates me, there's a mindset. If you use the word license-free music, if you've come from our generation where we've come through the 90s, and back then license-free music was just, oh God, it's just lift music. So we don't use that phrase. And so as soon as you use that phrase, the perception kicks in and people will go, it's rubbish, I don't want to hear it straight away. And so we're a platform now to introduce amazing new music by emerging artists and from well-established artists who've been there and done it. I would encourage anybody that's got the Pure Energy app to go and listen to a track called Uncontrollable Joy by Rob Tessera, okay? And so we're also using artists who were there and knew how to do it. And so we said to Rob, one of the greatest periods of dance music was that period I just mentioned, 1998 to 2002. Rob, take me back there. So Rob wrote this track called Uncontrollable Joy, which was those big trance classics. We've signed that track to our record label. So it's on Pure Energy, but Tidy Track's my record label. We've signed that. That's being played on dance floors all over the world. That's license-free music. And that's the point.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's just great new music.
Yeah.
So go and put that track on. And now I appreciate
I was going to say, I think I've played it already. Definitely.
If you're teaching an aqua class to people of a particular generation who want to hear what they want to hear, of course, that's intelligent programming and teaching ultimately. And so we do get that sometimes, that, but I want some music which is of this era. Then you pay for that. You should play that music, and you should pay people in PRS or use copyrighted music. But you go listen to that track and tell me that doesn't move you, because it's just so euphoric. So the point is, emerging artists, artists that have been there for many years, who can go, I'll get you that 90s sound. And that's what we do at Pure Energy Music.
It's amazing. And we should also say here, and Michelle, I know you do as well, any group exercise instructors that work for everyone actually that are listening to this, we've always said, if you've got a question about a class, if you've got a question about a track, reach out to us.
Absolutely.
We've been teaching you with it for,
years.
Years and years and years and years.
But we've got some really good recommendations as well for tracks as well. So if you are a bit stuck, reach out to us.
Completely. Andy, thank you
so
much
talk
for
to you
your
all day
time.
long.
I enjoyed that. Thank you.
Thank you. Team, as always, please make sure you share these episodes. Give us a little 5-star review. Any comments that you've got or any questions that you might have for Andy, if you're an up-and-coming artist or indeed producer, vocalist, please get in touch. How can they contact us, Mishy?
You can tell them the email address for Change My Life.
Okay, it is podcast@everyoneactive.com.
That threw you then, didn't it?
Yeah, I was like, oh no, it's me this time. But team, as always, thank you. Andy, thank you for joining
your
us.
time. Really appreciate it.
And take care.
See you again. Bye.